In New York, what would you say the homeless situation is like?
It's crazy. Too much. It's too much.
It's bad.
Do you think it's as bad as LA or Philly?
Oh shit! I think it's up there. It gotta be up there because at this point you don't know who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got all the migrants that came, people from I want to say Mexico, Venezuela, all them the Haitians, the Somali. Every day you seen them. There's busloads. So now the city, excuse me, they saying that the city is overran with migrant people. So the migrants don't have homes, so they part of the homeless population too. They may be the ones sleeping on the floor, but they still part of the situation. And that it's too much. Like every which way you can't go three steps.
Would you say you care?
Do I care?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, politically, I would care, but realistically, it's beyond my pay grade. For me to care is beyond my pay grade. So I care in a sense that I have empathy for what's happening to them, but it's only so much I can do, because if they really wanted to make a situation, they have more storage facilities for people to take their junk and put it in storage than they do affordable housing. Affordable housing is $2,300, $2,800
a month.
A month. That's not exactly, but
that's New York, right?
and that's affordable housing. So wrap your head around the situation is where you just running around and you're gonna get fucked sooner or later. It's because, all right, you put them in there, then you gotta find them jobs. Like they let all these people in, they say, yo, we have jobs for them. But the people that been in the system don't have jobs, don't have housing. So how do you have jobs for someone else? It's like your mom telling you telling your mom I'm hungry. Then somebody comes off the street, she feeds them but don't feed you.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
But the only issue is this though. This is the only issue I have when people talk about migrants and immigration, is that when you've gone to other people's countries, bombed them, displaced them, put it in disarray, I then say that I believe you have a duty of care. Even though it doesn't exist, but one can't complain about immigration, migrants, etc. when one has bombed a certain country. This person has now come to this country seeking asylum, and you're then complaining and saying, what are you doing here? And my biggest issue with that is America's not your land.
Right.
The UK is not my land, however you want to put it. Even though our ancestors have built either country up, it's not, unfortunately, it's not for us. And sometimes we often take that moral high ground, and I've seen black people in this country turn their nose up at refugees. And I have to remind them that don't let your burgundy passport make you think you're better than
They changed the blue now.
anybody, or the blue one. Don't make you feel that you're better than anybody else. Even when it comes to the homeless situation, you know, when you look at, I don't know what it's like in London, but when you talk about savings, I'm going to read something from on statistics where it talks about what kind of savings the UK has. So I don't know whether this will shock you or not. The mean average amount of money in a UK savings account is £17,000. So it's saying that the mean or the average person in the UK will have about 17,000. Somebody might have 8 billion, but on average it's 17,000.
Gotcha.
34% of adults had either no savings or less than 1,000 in a savings account. So that's less than 34. So if you look at 10 people, 3.5 of them have less than £1,000 or have no money. So when you look at life in general, there's 34% of people in the UK who have less than £1,000 saved in their account. 61% of UK adults save money either every other month. Almost 65% of people believe they wouldn't be able to last 3 months without borrowing money. So when we talk about the homeless situation, and I asked you whether you felt empathetic. Now, let's say I've got a restaurant, okay, and let's say there was a homeless man sleeping outside my restaurant. If I decided to ask him to move and he didn't move, and I then called the police, or I moved him myself, and it was filmed, how do you think I would look? How do you think people would look at me?
Like a clown, like a bozo. Because they don't. The context of that, they just seen you drag somebody out, right?
Would you have someone sleep outside your house?
No.
A homeless person?
No. But you see.
Would you move them?
But I physically moved them? Nah, I call the cops. But then that's the tricky part about it now. Because now you're like playing with, there's so much going on, and you're like, I don't want you here, but I want you someplace else where you're able to be taken care of.
So someone else's problem.
And ideally, that's how a majority of people think. There's not a lot of people that's gonna say, let me take you here, or I got somebody coming to get you. They're gonna just, the quickest way to end that whole situation is call somebody else, or remove them. And I see it, you know, like by my studio, there's the migrants will be around, and if we have an event or we got something coming up, like for the holidays, we
I just find it interesting that
so we fed them and stuff, and then there's like a bin, we put out the clothes and things like that, and we see them and we try to talk to them. One of my guys, his mom, she's like a social worker, so she tried to get them help, but once again, it's that language barrier because they don't speak the same language. Then on the flip side, you hear that those that come over, they give them scooters, they give them this, they give them that. So you, at one point, I'm like, I don't know who to believe, because they're saying they're giving them money. Once again, the natives that's here, they're not getting the money. So where's the actual money going to? So then you got to realize this is a big picture. This is something that's going on at top, where, yo, you got this kind of business. I'm in government. Should
the government be looking after their own first? And I think this is the part where, when we're talking about refugees, asylum seekers, those who've been displaced from countries where the UK and the rest of the other Western countries have bombed, put in disarray, ransacked, rummaged through. When they come over here, my question now is, should the UK government be putting us first over refugees?
What you're talking about is charity, essentially, to a certain degree, because a lot of the people coming over from abroad, like Eastern European and stuff, they do a lot of the jobs that people here don't want to do. So like they're working in like hospitality, for example. Their hospitality is hard, like, and a lot of people. There's a lot of jobs in hospitality at the moment because the people here don't want to do it. So,
but should they? Be, let's talk about the ones who are receiving aid, like in the UK. Like maybe they get housed, okay, and maybe there are UK citizens, like who live here, or New Yorkers who are born and bred here, who can't get a home. Like, should the UK be sending? Should the UK be inviting refugees in, housing them when there are homeless people who are residents of the UK who can't get a house?
You should give bias to your own people.
It's funny because, like he said before, it's 50 different countries under one umbrella. So each state is going to run it differently. So the money comes down, they're going to allocate it however they see fit. And if it reaches a certain quota, that's enough for them. They don't want to eradicate it 100%. They just want to eradicate it at a certain level where it's not seen as much. That's where it gets a little tricky, because now you start to see it's a numbers game. It's always going to be homeless people. It's always going to be the need and the wants. It's how do we mediate that and bring it down so it's not noticeable to the person that wants to just go out on a date and you know, that kind of thing. They just want to live their life. So you're trying to appease a lot of people, and they don't work like that.
Would you, if you went home now and you saw a homeless person situated outside your house, would you just walk past, or would you kind of be like, sorry, excuse me, like you're... Bearing in mind the paper doesn't belong to you. Just bear in mind that if it's inside your garden, by all means, yes. But let's just say you're walking where your gate is, you know, you've got the pavement and you're walking in, there's a guy who's, I was gonna make a joke there, I shouldn't. Would you just walk past them and be like, oh, would you like something to eat, and then just let them stay there?
Me now, bro, I feel like it depends on what's going on in my life. I'll be honest. Later on, if everything's nice and I can do the things I want to do, I probably got a lot of time for people like that, because I genuinely do care. But I feel like if you're a person like me that genuinely cares, you can't care for everything because you're just depleted. So,
and it's true, you got to pick your poison.
You have to.
What you want to use.
I can't save everyone, bro. I got to save myself. Like, a drowning person's not going to save a drowning person.
I've been
you both die.
And people don't understand what homeless means. So for instance, if you're not, for some of the man them right now, if you're not on a tenancy agreement at your girl's house, you're homeless. If you don't have a tenancy agreement wherever you live, you're homeless. Like, people don't realize what homeless means. People think that it's because you're on the street. No. If okay, Chiz lives here. Even if you told me I can move in right now and I set up a little shop in the corner of your front room and I'm living there now, because I'm not on your tenancy agreement, I'm actually homeless. I don't know what it's like in New York, but if you're not on the paperwork, you're homeless. And some brothers will sofa surf, some women will sofa surf, and I've been homeless before. And maybe that's why I've got a bit of a tiny bit of a soft spot where I feel a bit of empathy. But I had a restaurant in Birmingham, and I've got like a porch in front, and it's got like a covering. And I came one day when it was raining, and a homeless man was basically, say the door to my restaurant is here. That's the patio there. He was sleeping there under the shelter so that he wouldn't get wet. So I've walked in now and I'm like, I'm opening this in 1 hour. This brother can't sleep there.
Yeah.
So I kind of, yo. It's not. It's not my fault.
Why'd you wipe your hand, bro?
Oh, jeez. Don't worry, God's gonna deal with you anyway. Don't worry, God will deal with you. You'll be alright.
Man
When
tapped
God
in
flocks
and
you
wiped his hand.
1,000 lashes, you'll be alright still. Go and carry on the story.